Having trouble with your garage door? Problem solved. Call Direct Service Overhead Garage Door Company. We're your go-to team for garage door repair, new garage doors, openers, and more. We offer same-day service. We're always ready when you need us. Best of all, you can book your appointment online or talk to a live operator 24/7. No machines, no waiting. So whether it's a broken spring or a brand new garage door, trust the local experts at Direct Service Garage Doors. Call us today or visit directserviceoverhead.com.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome. It is Monday Night Lights Live. I'm flying solo tonight. Hope you guys are all doing, peachy. Hope everything's going swell. Make sure as you're climbing in here, you hit the like button, share the content, and, subscribe if you haven't already, and make sure you hit the notification bell and you hit that little all button underneath notifications, okay? All right? It's us versus them. It is us versus YouTube. So do me a solid and help a fella out with that, okay? We are going to talk quite a bit about basketball. We got a football update, all sorts of stuff. Just giving you a heads up for people who are curious, who are watching this maybe after the fact, after the live is over. No idea how long this one will go. I don't plan on this one going over 60 minutes, but we could. You just never know. But I do appreciate you guys for being here, and I appreciate those of you that are still Patreon supporters. Man, this is a tough time of year for Patreon. It just is brutal, actually. But if you guys haven't already, feel free to go check it out and help support a small independent channel, truly independent, right? I run the ship here. It's like herding cats to get Tim and Travis on here. It's like herding kittens. It's crazy. That's okay. We can handle this tonight. No, they got stuff going on. Again, make sure you hit the like button. Blackberry tea. Not bad. Not bad. Not terrible. Okay. First off, of course, shout out to Direct Service Overhead, the Garage Door Company. Same day services, quality parts, affordable outcomes, better than the best. 1,000 plus 5-star reviews, and there's nobody does it like them in Central Arkansas. 501-244-3667. Again, that's Travis Ford and the boys over at Direct Service Overhead. 501-244-3667. 1,000, like I said, 1,000 plus 5-star reviews. They offer quality parts, free estimates. Just to get a free estimate, give them a call. You got a problem with your door, hey man, it's real quick and easy. And you can also check out their link provided for you down below after the show is done. I don't like it when you guys tag me in mod chat in the middle of this. Is something wrong? What's going on? Okay, I'll read that in a second. It's usually nothing good when I get a tag in mod chat while I'm live. It's like, oh God, what's happening now? Let's read chat here really quick. Megan says a chew. Okay, how you doing, Megan? I'm at somewhat good enough, says Fishman. Transplanted text says leak. Yes, sir. I'm drinking McDonald's sweet tea, bro. McDonald's does some things right. Okay, the Egg McMuffin is goated. The Big Mac is goated. I know we could sit here and call it's fast food, whatever, but the Big Mac is fantastic, man. The Big Mac, their sweet tea is good, but usually it's a little too sweet. You got to ask them to lay off the sugar, but it's all pre-made anyways, so you're just kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. McDonald's does some things okay. The chicken nuggets are fire, man. I don't know what to tell people. Like, yeah, it's fast food slop, but man, when you're in a hurry and you've got like $10 in your account, and that's all you got, or you don't have time to cook dinner for the kiddos, McDonald's is never a terrible option. Are there other places I would rather go to? Of course. I'm a Popeye's chicken guy. Sonic, the old hickory burger. They don't make that anymore. That's sad. They don't make the hickory burger anymore. Okay, before we piss off someone, a boomer, probably on Facebook, he didn't even talk sports for the first few minutes. God, idiot. All right. Let's get ready to rumble. What do we got first on the list here? We're going to talk about Acuff. Finally gets SEC Player of the Week. This is just incredible. So I like reading straight from what Mike Kaywood, the Arkansas basketball SID, sends us. Acuff named SEC Player of the Week, earns 8th SEC Weekly honor. Darius Acuff averaged 34.5 points, 5 assists, 4.5 rebounds at number 25 Bama and versus Missouri in Fayetteville to earn SEC Player of the Week honors. I mean, we all know if he was passed up for that, it would have looked really bad for the league. There's just no way they were going to pass him up. He could have scored 14 points against Missouri and like 2 assists. The week that he had, or the game that he had against Bama, a ranked SEC opponent on the road, forget about it. I mean, you're rigged. I don't care what you did against Missouri. That single performance should have been good enough to carry him. That's what it took for this man, for this young, fantastic, true freshman player. That's what it took for him to get SEC Player of the Week, to have the kind of again, the week that he had 34.5 points, 5 assists, and 4.5 boards in those 2 games for a freshman point guard, a 6'2", 6'3" point guard. Doing that kind of damage. I only mentioned the height because of the rebounds. 4.5 boards. I mean, that's not outrageous for a point guard, but I mean, that's still, through 2 games, that's not bad. He can go up there. He's just, we're going to talk just a little bit. And I know we're a little bit out of order. If you look on the screen, we're actually going to have an Acuff Player of the Week at the 3rd topic there, but I just figured, you know what, let's start off with Acuff. He's on the thumbnail after all, as is Billy Richmond and Leak, assuming I don't change the thumbnail. First off, what the kind of year that he's having, I think it's established. He is the greatest freshman and maybe the greatest Razorback to ever play at Arkansas. Like I really think we're going. That's where we're going. And maybe we should have made that the poll. Oh, by the way, we do have a poll up. What was the poll? I made it, and I already forgot what it was. I feel blank confident that in this Arkansas – oh, boy, I really messed that up. Confident in this Arkansas – it was supposed to say Arkansas team. God, I always mess these up. I get in a hurry, and I'm like, shit, I got to make a poll, and I don't even read it out loud. We'll be good enough to advance. So, in other words, Arkansas will be good enough to advance. And we've got a tie here, or close to a tie. Nope, it's changing. Absolutely. Did I misspell absolutely too? No, I didn't. I don't think I did. 41%, somewhat good enough at 47. No defense, no chance at 12%. Nobody has Arkansas in the Final Four yet. Nobody has Arkansas in the Final Four. So, yeah. Yes, sir. Ty, he is up there in the best. Yeah, I don't think we can. I don't even know that it's how much of a debate is it right now. Now, I will say, if Arkansas's one and done, I'm not saying that that's what's going to happen, and we are going to discuss whether or not Arkansas is good enough to advance. Just kind of moving on from there, just what Arkansas is capable of doing and everything. But if Arkansas is one and done, and Acuff kind of tapers off. Like he's going to have to absolutely hit a wall for him to be taken out of that conversation of being the greatest Razorback to ever put the basketball jersey on. Now, the other thing that we like to do, and I notice everyone who's doing this with all the Kentucky and Memphis players that Cal played or coached, Wall and those guys, they love to go in and talk about the NBA. That's not the topic. That's not the debate. The debate is not. I mean, obviously, it's not. He's a true freshman at the University of Arkansas. Like, why do they keep doing this? And I'm seeing this debate with the talking heads, on X and their the debates that they're having whether it's Stephen A. Smith or just any former players. And they keep bringing up like, well, look how great he was in the NBA. Bro, we're talking about what they accomplished in school. This is why my argument, and I'm not going to go down the rabbit hole, Darren McFadden, so sticking with the number 5, right, with Arkansas, was a better collegiate running back than Adrian Peterson was at Oklahoma. That's an argument that I've had for years here. We used to talk about it every once in a while back in the day on this channel. I stand by that. Was Peterson a better overall running back? He was better suited for the NFL. He went to a team in the Vikings that built an offense, like that offensive line, one of the best run blocking. That offense was just tailor-made for a guy like Adrian Peterson to come in and kick some ass. And he was great. No doubt that Adrian Peterson's he is a great NFL running back. One of the best in the 2000s. And some would argue, probably top 15 somewhere in all of NFL history. Fantastic running back. But in college, to me, it's not even debatable. Darren McFadden's accolades are through the roof. He also had to deal with injuries like Peterson. And I think Peterson's last year, I think his season got cut short because he had an injury. I don't remember what it was, but I think his season got cut a little short his last year at Oklahoma. Again, he was a fantastic running back. But Darren McFadden's accolades, and then when you also have to consider the talent around him, right? He's not stockpiling talent the way Stoops did at Oklahoma. Arkansas's not. Houston Nutt wasn't stockpiling. They had draft picks and they had some really great players at that time. Obviously, that backfield was absolutely loaded. So, anyways, flipping it back over to Acuff, the thing too that helps his case, or what's going to help him moving forward, is he's actually surrounded with other possibly at least one other first-round draft pick. And the way Billy Richmond's playing, I'm not saying he's a first-round pick, but my God, if he continues to build, the kind of year Richmond's having lately has been insane. So you see what happens when and it's apples and oranges. Football and basketball, Darren McFadden had 3 years. We're only going to get to see 1 year out of Acuff at Arkansas, which is so disappointing. Man, I wish we got another year with him. But again, like I said before, you got to enjoy it while you have it. I think there's a legitimate argument here to be made that Acuff is, first off, he is the greatest Razorback. I think he's going to go down as the greatest Razorback basketball player no matter how far they go. And it's also getting back to the comparison thing. Like, you cannot compare anyone that's played in the league. Let's talk about what they've done while they played under Coach Cal. Let's talk about what they did when they were in college, not versus what they did in the NBA, and that's why they're greater. And I know what they're doing. They're talking about like just how good they are as players. And again, you've got way more body of work there when you're comparing with the NBA, right? Shout out to Silverfield. Yeah, he did. You're right, Matt. He coached Adrian Peterson. That is correct. 2009 Favre Vikings is probably my favorite team ever to watch. Yeah. And he's a tough SOB. Wait. Are you talking about Acuff? Yeah, Acuff is tough out there limping around on one foot. I'd say he's probably the toughest player on the team, with maybe Billy being as tough, yeah. Pooh Bear says Jordan Smith and Andrew's going to be super fun to watch next year, though, especially if Lee comes back next year, like I'm predicting, he says. I don't know the odds of him coming back. Talking about Leak. Leak is starting to climb. He is starting to climb some boards. Don't know if it's we'll have to wait and see, right? We're going to have to wait and see on him. I don't know. I am not prepared now to say everyone's coming back. Billy Richmond's having that. I mean, you remember Knox made that push late last year. Not that he wasn't great or good at any other point during the regular season last year, but you remember the push that he made, and all of a sudden he starts getting mentioned in these late first round, these mock drafts for the 2025 NBA mock draft. There's a possibility here that Billy Richmond, and I haven't even begun to think about him being an NBA draft pick. Like I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know where his ceiling is at. Richmond's having the kind of year that is making me change my mind about what he's capable of. Obviously, lately, Billy Richmond's just been so special. And then you combine that with Leak and obviously Acuff. Just imagine if this team had a halfway decent front court. If they could play defense, if they could guard, and it'd be great if the guards could guard too, right? If they could play a little defense. Imagine if this team played just one step better, one notch up defense, right? Oh my God, I think they'd be unstoppable. I really do. Swaggy says, yeah, he's gone. Which one? Leak or Billy Richmond? Leak's been really good. Maybe that should have been the poll. Who's more likely to leave? Obviously we'd leave Acuff off there because he's for sure gone, but Leak or Billy Richmond. Okay. I don't know what that's about. You consider, this is from Patrick Smith, you can consider Acuff the best Razorback because of what he's doing as a freshman. I don't know what the argument is. I know we could talk about other great players, right? Regardless of what year they are. And unfortunately that is where this is now. It's going to be harder and harder. Well, I shouldn't say that. As long as Cal's here, you're going to continue to attract great talent. It's just that they don't get that body of work that guys in the past got, right? Like Sidney Moncrief, Delph, Brewer. Of course, you go, more recently, Isaiah. Oh my God. Jeez. I just completely blank. Corliss, of course. Like you can go down those teams in the '90s under Nolan. Some of the talent that those rosters had and the players, but they were able to build, 2-3 years. Acuff's only going to get 1 year, so that's going to be the disadvantage, right, for Acuff moving forward. He's, if they bring in, you see who they're bringing in next year. I mean, it's crazy, and I'm not saying that they're going to come in and dethrone Acuff, but it's not impossible. It might be, at the moment, seem improbable, but it's not impossible. Anyways, let's finish this Darius Acuff thing really quick, the SEC Player of the Week. It marks the 8th time Acuff has earned weekly honors by the SEC, becoming the first player in league history to be an 8-time winner. He has been named SEC Freshman of the Week 7 times and has earned SEC. Oh, don't you do that. Oh, my page is being silly. 7 times. Let's see. It has earned SEC Weekly honor 8 of the last 11 times in the league. 8 of the last 11 times the league has handed out the awards. Acuff joins Courtney Fortson, Isaiah Joe. My God, Courtney Fortson. On December 15th, 2008. Where were you at December 15th, 2008? And Isaiah Joe, December 3rd, 2018, as the only Razorback freshman to win overall SEC Player of the Week. That I did not know. Okay, that I did not know. I didn't realize that Fortson and Isaiah Joe are the only two. Okay, that's interesting. With his impressive week, Acuff took over the SEC's overall scoring leader, 22.19 average, and he continues to lead the SEC overall in assists. That's insane. In fact, Acuff is the only player in the NCAA to average at least 20 points and 6 assists this season. Also, Acuff will be looking to join LSU's Pete Maravich as the only player to lead the SEC in scoring and assists for an entire season. Maravich did it 69-70 by averaging the NCAA's best 44.5 points and 6.19 assists. Acuff additionally leads the SEC in assist turnover ratio. Dude, I mean, just the more you read this, it's like he really could break into the top. I mean, he's a lock in the top 10. He's a lock. He's got to be. I understand the defense is the thing, right? That's like the thing that we're all going to point at. Well, maybe not us necessarily, but the analyst the scouts. It's going to be the thing they do talk about. That could push him out if his defense gets better moving forward. And that's the great thing. All he's got to do is show signs of life on the defensive end of the floor. That's all he's got to do. He's got to pump those numbers up, baby, on defense. Maybe force some steals, force some turnovers, not get beat off the dribble as often as he has. I remember calling that out 3 weeks into the season. Like, man, he's kind of getting beat off the dribble here. It never really went away. But if all of a sudden he starts manning up on defense, no matter who he's defending, whether it's a 1 or a 2 or whatever they have him doing, he's athletic enough, he's quick enough, and he sometimes has active hands. Not like Leak and Billy. Billy and Leak have active hands. I mean, you talk about forcing steals, but it just shows signs of life on defense. He could break into the top 5. He could legitimately break into the top 5. The thing is, you got to be consistent on defense. It can't be he played pretty good defense against A&M, and then he kind of gave up, some pretty easy buckets against Florida and those guards that have been kind of hot and cold this year. In the SEC tournament, in the 1 or 2 games that he played, he was kind of hot in one game and cold the next. Can't do that. It's got to be consistent. He could really make the top 5. He really could be a top 5 pick. I really think, again, you cannot read these numbers and watch him play, which is the most important part, and tell me that he doesn't play like a top 5, top 3 pick. Now, I've got people trying to argue with me that he's a lock for the top 5, top 3, and I'm like, his defense has got to get a little better because, believe it or not, they still want guys to play defense, even though it's not a priority in the league for some of these teams. Or, well, the players, I'm sure the teams, the league owners and the front office and the coaching staff want them to play defense. That's certainly something. It's not like nobody plays defense in the NBA, by the way. With the way the game is right now, I don't know. But yeah, so his numbers, incredible. Good for him. Happy. Feel like we ought to put on the gold chain. Congrats, Acuff, sir. I'm going to end this damn poll. I'm not like it's staring me in the face. I really messed it up. I feel blank confident in this Arkansas will be good enough. I'm going to end that damn poll. We're ending it. Thank you for taking the poll. Maybe I'll get another one up here in a minute. Hell, Ty, the NBA doesn't play much defense. I know. Got to see the bracket before I make any predictions on this team's future. No. Yeah, we're not doing that. Okay, we're not doing that. I'm sorry. Maybe I messed up on the poll. The point is whether or not you feel confident enough that they're good enough to advance. That's the question. Yes, matchups matter. I get it. Matchups do matter. We're talking about whether or not they're just good enough. You think just watching them play, yeah, they're good enough. Listen, I don't know what kind of matchups are going to be their big bugaboo. Teams that play great inside outside zone, tight perimeter defense, and teams that get back, and transition good enough on defense to really not allow Arkansas's quickness and that pace that they like to play at to not get to them. I thought a team like Tennessee, of course, Florida, Ole Miss early on in the year, I thought they were going to be capable of. In Arkansas, I mean, you saw what they did to Tennessee, and we've seen what they've done against some other, defensive teams this year. Not that they've played a ton of them, but I would say I'm in the camp of very confident this team is good enough to go on a pretty good run. Yes, matchups matter. What bracket you're in, where you're playing at, all this stuff. How difficult is it all this stuff matters. How difficult is it for your fans to travel? And we know Arkansas fans travel well. The more you see this team and the way they play, yeah, I thought they should have beat the hell out of Auburn when they came to Bud Walton. I thought they should have beat the hell out of LSU. Shouldn't have lost to Kentucky. Shouldn't have been blown out. I mean, we can go on and on about all that. But what we have seen these last several games, there is a little bit more effort. Now, again, they're about to play A&M. Legitimately could be one of the top 3 scoring offenses in the SEC when they're hot. When A&M is hot, they are a problem on offense. So that's why the over-under is the question for prediction, by the way, in Tuss Talk Discord. For one of our predictions for Arkansas A&M, I just went simply, what do you think this game looks like? Lately, the A&M has just looked like garbage. They've looked like booty cheeks, son. But you never know with Arkansas's defense, right? But they have shown better effort. They don't look – Ewan still looks lost at times. We're not seeing consistency out of him or Pringle, but I do feel like they've been a little bit better at their best when playing on the defensive end of the floor. Brazil, I don't know. We didn't give him enough credit. I kind of went back and watched some of the highlights. There were plays Brazil was unshakable on defense. Getting his arms out, getting his feet right, getting his hips right. He just there's stuff there that I'm seeing out of him that looks a little bit more consistent lately. I'm not saying he's a great defender. We know what he could do in blocks and altering shots. He's certainly doing that as well. Incredibly hard for Acuff to play lockdown D and play 40 minutes. And Mike, that's fair, but we have seen players under Cal playing 38, 37, 38 minutes and play great defense and also be a weapon on offense. I don't think that's a fair argument when you compare him to some of the other guys that have actually done that. Acuff reminds me of Jalen Bruson and Brunson. Never defends well. He just scores and assists the blank out of the ball. Sorry, I got Acuff going 7th as of right now tonight to the Dallas Mavs. Dallas has been a team that keeps popping up for him, by the way. I don't know. Do they need a point guard? I really don't know. Like I said, I've become the most casual NBA fan the last couple of years, and it makes me depressed because basketball is just it was fun to play back when I was skinny enough and young enough to play it, and it's so fun to watch. It's fun to diagnose. It's fun to get to know the players. The game of the NBA is just garbage lately. It's just been not good. What's up, Hero Blake? How you doing, man? It's just dribble shoot. There's no post play. There's no underneath play. There's no physical big. I mean, not that I shouldn't say no. It's just a lot less of it. It's just not, to me, I guess basketball was at its peak probably in the, 90s and parts of the 2000s. It was at its peak in the NBA. College basketball is the better product. And to me, I don't think it's very close. Pringle and Ewan registering a pulse on the court is more effort than we've seen at times. Oh, man. Hey, those of you that are hopping in here, I appreciate it. Make sure you share the content. We're coming up on 30 minutes. We're doing good. My family's being awfully loud in the other room there. Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas King. Boy, you get around, don't you? They have Kyrie. Acuff could be a great predecessor for Dallas. Oh, yeah. Okay, there you go. That's a fair point. Acuff and Flag could do some things in the NBA. Could you imagine? I mean, I'd love to see him get paired up with someone like that. Again, I don't know their needs. Like, I don't have my finger on the pulse of the NBA, and I haven't for the last, like I said, couple of years. Even when the Celtics won the finals, I was like, oh, cool. I mean, I watched every game, but it just wasn't. I mean, of course I celebrated and I was excited, but then like 2 days later, I was like, all right, cool. It's weird. It's weird. Now, when the Rams won the Super Bowl, of course, the NFL is still a really good product, in my opinion. Although I don't like what's happening to the run game in the NFL. I don't know. The value of running backs has just dipped. Acuff equals Westbrook plus Kyrie and Trae Young. Okay. All right. And subscribe. I appreciate the shares, by the way, fellas. Appreciate the shares. Send the link to Gam Gam. I'm sure she's a diehard Razorback fan. Gam Gam, this fat guy with the beard behind the microphone is actually somewhat entertaining. There's 5 billion Arkansas channels now, but he's entertaining at the very least. Wherever he goes, I'll have the jersey, says Camo Gang. Bro, I'm not going to lie. I cannot wait to watch him. Just like with Black. Now, I do keep up with former Razorbacks a little bit. Not a lot, but I do keep up with former Razorbacks. But Acuff, there's a certain tingle you get when you think about him, in the league. There's a little tingle there, like, damn, this dude's special. We know it, and the league could find out pretty soon. Anyways, Anyways, Arkansas basketball, we've kind of already talked about this a little bit. Are they good enough? And like I said, we've already mentioned it. We've gone over it for a little bit, even though we're kind of ping-ponging around everywhere on these topics tonight. That's fine. Sometimes that's perfectly fine. It's just having the conversation, chilling and drinking some blackberry tea and just hanging out. I don't have a cigar. I don't have any whiskey, although I've got this pineapple whiskey I can't wait to tear into. Is Arkansas good enough? And what facts do you have that would support the claim, right? Here's something. College basketball predicted efficiency landscape. This is I'm gonna blow you up. Let me get this up. As you can see, this is oh, good Lord. This was so much bigger before I upload. Oh boy, pause. This picture was so much bigger. Team ratings at evanmaya.com predict future possession efficiency above. So it's just offensive efficiency essentially. Okay, and this is my God, I can't remember the name of I did this before too. I cannot remember the name of the actual Twitter, but there you go. Is it on the page somewhere? Anyways, you see where Arkansas is at. They have them, and by the way, Texas has been floating around a little bit on offense. I mean, they're not far behind Alabama in efficiency here. This is something you look at just in total. Now, don't ask me to get into specifics on this, but that's not a bad place to be in here. Now, of course, Duke and Michigan. I mean, Michigan is damn fun to watch. Florida being here, I'm not entirely sure. Again, I don't understand. Maybe Blake Lovell over at Southeastern 16. I need to get him on, and he could explain some of this to me. Arkansas is in that Final Four potential category, and again, we know it's efficiency. And the way the tweet read out was that this was based on just the offensive efficiency overall. Or maybe it's efficiency on both sides of the ball. I don't know. But they've got Arkansas here in the Final Four. And that's not really, I just wanted to show you guys that graphic. This isn't, I guess you could say it's kind of evidence-bound there. Also, where'd you go? Adam Ford on X, and I can't share my screen because I don't have the OBS option up, or I haven't fiddled with it. But Adam Ford on X, he's a numbers guy, but he has something interesting here. As of this morning, Arkansas's turnover rate, 12.3%, is the lowest in Division I. They've been top 20 all season. Hell, they've been top 10, top 15 all season. But in recent games, they've managed to cut their turnovers more. Arkansas's best rankings, and this is, I think this is all true here. I didn't fact check all of these. Turnover rate, number 1. Scoring rate, which is percentage of possessions with points, number 1. Points slash 100 off turnovers allowed, number 1. Fast break points, 2nd. Assist to turnover ratio, 4th. And when I think you consider this, even though their non-con strength of schedule apparently is slipping a little bit, it's still pretty damn impressive that they're 4th in the assist to turnover ratio. That's insane. This is just insane efficiency. Offensive efficiency at half court, which this is a little bit surprising. I wouldn't have thought top 5. I would have said, I don't know, 25th, 5th in offensive efficiency in half court, and then 9th in field goal percentage in the paint. In the paint, obviously that's Acuff and guys like Acuff, Leak. Wagner lately coming around when he cuts to the rim. That's his thing. I don't mind you maybe taking a couple threes, maybe as long as they're uncontested and it's a good look. But and then Billy Richmond, they finish at the rim. I don't know how many layup attempts they get per game, but it's got to be high, and the efficiency rating there has got to be high. But again, 9th in field goal percentage in the paint. That's not your bigs getting a ton of offense. That's your guards cutting and slashing to the rim. And with or without screens, just making their way. I mean, they could score on you in so many different ways, and that is why I believe this is a case for Arkansas to absolutely be a team that's going to advance. Now, good enough to advance, yes. Good enough to go toe-to-toe. I don't know that there are very many teams in the NCAA tournament. And I'm sure you can make this claim. I don't think it's correct? You could, anyone who makes the tournament, you might, well, I should say anyone, but especially the top 8 seeds, you hear this a lot. Sometimes even the top 12 seeds, again, depending on the matchups. But you feel good when you play at your level of ball, that high level of ball for Arkansas, which is all gas, no brakes, up and down the floor, quick transition basketball. When they play at that level, that really high level, they can play with anybody in that, in who we believe is going to make the NCAA tournament. Now, again, there are so many, just like with any sport, especially in the postseason, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, whatever, there's so many variables, right? Maybe you get a team that just matches. It's a matchup nightmare. And and that's why I say I don't know, because we don't know who's going to be in their bracket. But overall, if you're just doing like a power poll, right, which is not an indication of where you would rank them, just a power poll, how good you think they are, I don't know that there's going to be very many people that leave them out of being like an Elite 8, maybe even Final Four caliber team. And that's the discussion being had right now. So when someone says, well, I'm not going to make a determination right now on how far they're going to go in the tournament, we're not doing that. We're talking about how good are they, and are they good enough to advance depending on their matchups. But do you feel good enough if you were to write out a power poll where you would have them and just, just give us an idea of what you think they could do if they play at their best. And I think when they play at their best, Final Four may not be out of the conversation for Arkansas. Now, right now, what's important is seeding, right? That's really the conversation. That's the honest conversation we're having right now, that it's a legitimate debate. Are they a 4 seed? Are they a 5 seed? If they lose a couple of these games, which is entirely possible, do they slip down to a 6? I don't think so, because they're borderline 4 seed by most people, including Field of 68. Here's theirs. Again, why is it not? Here we go. Grab the right screen. They've got Arkansas. If you can zoom in there and look, they have Arkansas. Where'd they go? Where are they? I know they're a 5 seed, but I don't remember who they had them matched up with. Good God. Bro, I can't even see who they have them matched up with. They're on there. They're a 5 seed. Just look for the number 5. There they are. Yale? Okay, so they've got Yale at the 12. That's who they have Arkansas matched up with. So I don't know. I mean, whatever. We're so far away. Who cares? But so a lot of people like Art, and I'm pretty sure, and I know everyone loves to say, well, Lenardi's not accurate, and he's not. But everyone mentions Lenardi because he works for ESPN. Everyone talks about Lenardi's his bracket, and I think he has Arkansas as a 5 seed. So I don't know. Again, this is the topic, and that's the conversation that we have every time we talk about this: is how does Arkansas get there to being a better seed? 4 and 5 seed, you're just splitting hairs. I think you're just splitting hairs. At the end of the day, who cares? You're either a 5 or a 4. If you lose a couple, do you slip out and you end up in that, in that 6 seed spot? I don't know. But right now, what's important is you're locked in. Play this one game at a time, and then let's revisit this conversation about where Arkansas, how good you think they really are. Right now, the level they're playing at, it's just insane. It is absolutely insane. So, another thing I was looking at, and just some notes that I had. Let's see. Leak in the last several games. Well, I better. You know what? Hold on. Where did it go? I had another really interesting. Oh, Billy Richmond. And so again, on the topic of are they good enough to advance, or are they of that caliber? Billy Richmond's play in the last 6 games from Brandon Baker on X, solid follow. You guys got to follow Brandon Baker. Billy Richmond over his last 6 games, almost 18 points a game, 4 boards, nearly 3 assists per game, 1 steal, 1 block. He's shooting 65%, and some of those are threes, not very many. But he's 29% outside. Again, that's not really an arsenal. That's not something he has in his arsenal. But he's 70% at the free throw line. I want to see that come up a little bit if he gets many more opportunities, right? I'd like to see that closer to like 74, 75% if we're really going to split some hairs here. But, that's a pretty big, that's making some more buckets there at the charity stripe. 29% outside, that just tells me right now you're either not taking enough looks outside because he doesn't, and maybe you're missing a little bit. I'd like to see him. If you talk about him coming back, that's an area I'd like to see him expand his game because he really is he's got some mid-range game and he can absolutely finish at the rim, right? I would love to see him expand his game and start knocking down threes. And maybe he could start working on that this year, or you'd probably prefer him to do the things that we know he's good at, right? But, imagine if you got him going outside and all of a sudden he's shooting – he's making 2 or 3 threes a game. I don't know that I see that happening because at the moment, again, he's shooting 29% on a very small volume of attempts from outside. But Richmond has been when you combine the three, Richmond has almost been like he's been a huge reason over these last 6 games as to why you're getting above or right at your average points per game. That's been Billy Richmond. He's played such a huge role in that. Of course, Acuff scoring as many as he did against Bama, that's insane. But then you sprinkle in some Billy Richmond and Leak. Every once in a while, we'll see Brazil get going, Ewan get going on the offensive end. There's just so much. There's plenty of evidence here to suggest that Arkansas is absolutely on the offensive end as a team good enough to really go far in the tournament. So, yeah, no one would say, and there's two different arguments. Nobody would say, oh, no, they're not getting past the first round. You see what I'm saying? The water cooler conversation, the water cooler talk. Oh, I don't see them getting past the first round. Nobody's saying that. That doesn't mean that they don't get eliminated in the first round. It could happen. It happens all the time. We see either a Cinderella team or, you get paired up with someone that's just not a good matchup for Arkansas. And I don't know how many of those. You just saw this huge Mizzou team that's got size that has won some decent games this year, and Arkansas with that limited roster wore them out. Now, obviously, you got to get Sealy back. I don't anticipate Knox coming back. Sealy, I thought, was going to play in the last game, and I think that he could be key coming off the bench getting – I don't know, man. I'd love to see that dude get in and get, 6 or 7 quality minutes on the floor. I'd love to see that. I don't know if we're going to get to, though, and he didn't get to play against he didn't get to play in the last game against Missouri. I was really hoping he would. I know he's got a hip thing going on. Maybe they did. I heard that he was shooting around or something before the game, or maybe he was in a jumpsuit moving around. I thought I read that somewhere. I don't know. And someone, I think, posted a video of him. But Sealy's got to get healthy. No doubt about that. Sealy's got to come back around. My God. Okay. Arkansas got a walk-on tight end, Braylon Gilbert from Georgia State. I don't know much about him other than he's a walk-on. He did not have any PFF numbers from a year ago, so maybe he was a walk-on there, and he I don't know. 6'4", 240 is about all I have on him. He's not going to be here. He's not eligible to be here during the spring, so you won't hear from him until the summer. He did not have stats at Georgia State last year, but he apparently will have 3 years of eligibility. This kind of came out of nowhere. I thought they were done with even. Again, he's a walk-on, so there's that. All right, Arkansas, Texas A&M. I guess that could be our. Well, maybe that could be our poll. Is that our poll? Let's do a poll here really quick. Hang on. Let's get the poll up. Arkansas versus Texas A&M. What are we going to do with this poll? I think most of you would pick Arkansas to win this, especially because, my God, A&M has just played. They've been bad. Arkansas right now in the matchup predictor is favored at almost 71%. That's very high. But they are 19-8. Their offense is is very capable. But they have not played anywhere near their level of ball lately. Right now, A&M has, well, they have 1-2, but it was against Ole Miss and Oklahoma, and they snuck out of their own arena against Ole Miss, and they did go on the road and they beat Oklahoma by 4. But they were riding a 4-game losing streak before that win against Ole Miss, losing to Alabama in a close game, by the way. In a close game, they lost by 3, but then they played Florida at home and got curb stomped, 86-67, and then they lost to Mizzou at home, 86-85, and then they went to Vanderbilt and also just blown up, 82-69. So what should our poll be? Their average points per game are 78.2. How about, does Arkansas do the Hogs keep the Aggies under 80 points? How about that? Because I feel like everyone's going to say they're going to pick Arkansas. Let's make it interesting. So there you go. There's the poll. If you get 5 seed, you get someone like Yale, and they make 25 threes in your pot. Oh, that's always possible. Blow the whistle on Trevin for. Which was a clean block. Pringle is our second best. What? Pringle is our second best player. Never gives up on the play. That sounds like someone who just watched his Hogs Plus interview. That's what that sounds like. I just don't know. Yeah, Yudwa, I see the $2 super chat. I think you're just trying to. He's not the second best player. You know that. You're just being silly. That's a DKB comment. I mean, I like his hustle. You do see him hustle, man. I mean, he does work hard. I won't deny that. He does work hard. He just has not been a fit here. What if Arkansas beats A&M and Florida? Do they move to 4 seed? Ask Josh. I don't know. I can't read the minds. I don't know. I would say this. If Arkansas is good enough, I mean, they should. I'm definitely going to take Arkansas over A&M. Okay, before we move on, I am taking Arkansas over A&M. I think it could be a close game. Then again, it's one of those. Again, if Arkansas plays their level of ball, they could run them off the damn floor. The problem is we just don't see that very often. I mean, Missouri, they beat these guys 94-86. Arkansas is, especially inside Bud Walton Arena, should have been able to really, take off. They don't do that very often. Auburn, they beat 88-75. They did beat the pants off LSU at Baton Rouge, but LSU was so bad. They are really bad, and it was good to see Arkansas not play down to their opponent. That's been the issue for this team this year. And if you mess around and let A&M get hot, you might be in for a game. This could go either way, right? So I'm going to say Arkansas wins that game. But if you go down to Florida and you find a way to get past them, you shouldn't lose another game, which is Texas and then at Missouri. Texas coming to Bud Walton, and then you're on the road at Columbia, who's only lost at home twice. I think right now you should be able to beat Missouri on the road. But if you get past Florida on the road, so that means you're going to win out. That's a 5-game win streak, which would put you, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that would put you at what? 25-7, right? Am I doing that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 24-7. 24-7. I don't know, right? Your net ranking's been hovering around the top 25 most of the year, constantly behind Tennessee. I don't know if that puts them. I think it probably would lock them in at the 4. Yeah, I think it would. I think it would. If you won out, yeah, I think you're most likely a 4 seed. I think you're pretty close now. Again, if you take care of business against A&M, you could hold on to the L against Florida, but if you win the other 2 games, there's a chance there you're a 4 seed. I'm now in that. I'm with Brim and those guys who are like, oh no, they're for sure a 4 seed. I had my doubts, and I still kind of do, but I think they are capable of being a 4 seed now. I think that is within the realm of possibility. Whereas last week I was like, I don't know. I really feel like they got to do this, this, and this. It also takes other teams too, right? Other teams falling for sure. It takes other teams losing some games they shouldn't have. They shouldn't lose. And I don't know how many of those to expect this late in the year. Arkansas right now in the net, they moved up. They are still in front of Bama at 20th. Oh, my God. Tennessee's moved up to 17th. Still, I know the whole head-to-head thing, but you're not supposed to. But both Vanderbilt and Tennessee are ranked at 16th and 17th in front of you. That's the thing. I think Arkansas is better than anybody out. I think Florida is the only I would say Florida's better than Arkansas. That's it. There's no clear, and I don't even know how clear that is. I'd love to see Florida in Bud Walton on a neutral floor. It might be a little bit different. Florida's a 7 seed right now. So Arkansas, who like I said, is a 20. They are currently 6-7 in quad 1 games. That's a lot of quad 1s. It's not the most. Texas Tech has played 14 quad 1s. I think that's actually the most. I think that 14 is the most. It's either the most or tied for the most. There might be one other. Anyway, so I don't know, man. I think you just got to take care of business. That's what matters. Just take care of what's in front of you right now, right? Is Acuff holding Pringle back? Oh, man. Oh goodness. If they win in Gainesville, a 3 seed would be in. Oh yeah, no, I agree. It would be a 3 seed, but you got to take care of everything else. Bucky Ball. God, Bucky Ball gonna go cold. If we beat Florida, we 100% lose to Missouri. No. Well, that would be the Arkansas way, though. That's fair. Yeah, that is fair. But if you're good enough to win there, if you're good enough to go down to the swamp and get that dub, you're good enough to win anywhere. Ty, I think we could beat Florida with the games they lost in conference. Steals and turnovers was an issue. That is our strength. That is fair. Arkansas and the assist, like we already mentioned earlier. Okay, their assist to turnover ratio it's the best in the SEC. They don't turn the ball over a whole lot. That's another thing about A&M, you guys. I'm telling you, man, if A&M plays at their level, we could be in for a fight Wednesday night because they are also very good on the year overall. Very good assist to turnover, and they're really good up and down the floor team too. They can score quick. But yeah, Florida has had some issues this year, turning the ball over a little bit. I'm not actually sure where they're at on the assist to turnover. I thought it was higher than. Holy cow! I'm in the 90. Oh, there they are, 94th in the assist to turnover ratio. So they've had 326 total turnovers on the year. And so just to give you an idea, 326 turnovers for Florida, 241 for Arkansas. So there you go, right? Yeah. Hey, all right. Odds we see Doug Schowles on the crew in Gainesville. Dear God. Oh, my God. And that's the other thing we have to factor in. That's one of those things, right, when we talk about the variables and the equations, right? You're talking about Doug Schowles. That's right. If he is there, then, boy, you better buckle up. Listen, there's a good chance he is there. Doug Schowles picks the Florida game to blank us over against the top 25 team again. Can we win if Doug Schowles on the road? It's already difficult to win on the road. But yeah, overall, the record. It's obviously because you get games at home that you're supposed to win. I want to know how many top 25 games he's officiated. Because he's been a thorn in the side of Cal for a minute. So I wonder how many ranked games that he's officiated that Cal has lost, or what his record is in ranked games when Doug Shows is reffing, right? Hey man, we're going an hour. All right, we're almost there. 54 minutes. That's incredible. Did we get all of our topics out of the way? Did we get them all? Oh well. To finish up, I already told you I like Arkansas over A&M. Kind of gave you little tidbits about what they're capable of. I do expect Arkansas to win this. They just cannot mess around. A&M, maybe they're catching a little bit of a hot streak. I don't know. I didn't watch either of these last two games they played. Honestly, in my head, for some reason, I thought they'd actually split those, but they are riding a 2-game. They've got a couple of dubs. Maybe they're turning their year around. I don't know. They are 9-5 in conference play. They are not cupcakes, but they were. I mean, they got off to a losing streak, 4-game losing streak at Bama against Florida versus Missouri at home, and then at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt 82-69. I mean, just clobbered them, and now they've won back-to-back. However, in these games total, I think they only scored their average or higher. Going back to Bama, let's see. Once. Is that right? No. Yeah, once. Alabama. They scored 97 against Bama. They lost that game 100-97. We know how bad their defense is. They scored 85 against Mizzou. Remember, these guys score 88 points a game. They only scored 69. So they have not reached their average in the last one, or they've only reached their average one of the last 6 games. So obviously their offense is taking a little bit of a dip. But yeah, so on the 25th, 8 p.m. tip-off, ESPN The Deuce on ESPN2. There will be a post game. That'll be that's probably going to be our show for Wednesday. Is the post game. So looking forward to it. Again, I got Arkansas taking the dub. It could be tough. I don't even want to give a prediction on the points. I really don't. Arkansas is overwhelmingly favored according to the matchup predictor. Excuse me, the matchup predictor. But only God knows. Arkansas has played down to their opponents. So, anyways, that is going to do it. I do appreciate everyone. Cal said beginning of the year, if you don't have good bigs, your team is a fraud. I hate to say it, but Nick and Ewan, ouch, says Brent Peterson, 2972. Listen, Brent, I wouldn't say that Ewan is a complete negative. I don't think that's fair. I think on offense, Ewan his potential's pretty good there. I mean, that's a guy that can put up points. He's averaging 9 points, 5 boards per game with a block, and he's only turning it over once a game, and he's averaging about 19 minutes. I think lately, that's actually about what his minutes have been lately too. So he's averaging just south of 20 minutes, and he's getting decent production. At his best, we know he can get 14, 15, 16 points. Yeah, we want him to play better on defense. Defensively, I'm with you. I think at times on offense, Ewan is very capable. And then you sprinkle in some Brazil when he does decide to kind of play low. He can also be an issue. We know he likes to stretch the floor because that's what he can do. He's a stretch 4. That's what he is. He's a stretch piece. He's a stretch big. So Ewan's got to play better, and the bigs overall, all of these guys got to play better. And you're without Knox. Knox has been a key defensive guy at times. Well, let me step back. Not a key, but last year he was a key, pretty decent, turned into a decent two-way player. In the way of what we're seeing from Billy Richmond, of course, Billy Richmond with all them ups, that dude could block. I swear to God, he's got a 44-inch vertical. Who knows what he could do, right? And maybe his game is still, he's not playing at his highest level. I think he is. I think he's playing at a really high level. He's right now, he's at his overall season average is at 10 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. But his game lately has been through the roof. So, yeah, I mean, they're going to need some more guys other than just the bigs to step up on defense. But maybe Billy Richmond's having that turnaround the way that Knox did a year ago, right? 2 different players, I get it. But so I wouldn't count anybody out. Pringle, I get. Pringle, I understand the criticism. I understand it. I'm not trying to tear that guy down. I did catch bits and pieces of his Hogs Plus interview. He does seem like just a good guy, good kid, good young man, good head on his shoulders, wants to do better. was a part of a Alabama Final Four team. He was a key piece to that, and maybe he is the guy we're waiting on, right? I've been saying that, I feel like, all damn year. Maybe he'll eventually turn it around, but in the meantime, you have seen other players step it up on one end of the floor or the other, especially with Billy Richmond on both ends, and maybe again Ewan on offense. I think he's capable of being a problem. So anyways, make sure I didn't miss anything. Might slip on a spilled can of Pringles, sending the opponent to the locker. Oh my gosh, didn't talk about that. Billy Richmond, yeah, he's got to keep that. Billy Richmond, and it's him in Brazil. Like, guys, be smarter. Please be smarter. Don't. Come on, man. A technical right at half. That was silly. I mean, they got to rein that stuff in. AF Warrior 83 says TB is our best defender. Like I said earlier, I've liked the way he's played defense lately. I really have. I've liked the way he's played defense lately. It's been. I'm not saying he's a great defender, but he is certainly starting to look the part. Of those three of the bigs, I think that's absolutely true. All right, everybody. Again, that is it. We are done. Appreciate Patreon supporters and everyone who stopped by tonight. Hopefully, you're sharing the content. If you're watching this after the live show, I got a Patreon video I'd really like to get done. Not going to happen tonight, but maybe tomorrow. I want to comment on a young lady's video about Arkansas and its NIL. If you haven't seen it, I urge you to watch it. I don't have the channel name up in front of me right now, but I'm gonna make kind of a reply. But it's gonna be in Patreon, so you need to be a Patreon supporter to catch it. But it's gonna be my reply, kind of me talking about the things that she discusses about Arkansas's NIL. And some of it's obvious, but I was amazed at some of the comments in the comment section below. Anyways, so look out for that video. Hopefully sometime this week, Patreon supporters, I'll get that out to you. And we've got we're going to start unloading a spring camp. It'll be here before you know it. We'll have audio logs. I went blank there for a second. We'll have audio logs also when spring camp opens back up. Patreon's about to catch fire, so make sure you're a subscriber to Tuss Talk with Ty Patreon. And, you got a shot to it winning an autographed card if you're a legendary status member. So something to consider. So I appreciate everyone, and I will see you guys on the post game after Arkansas and Texas A&M. You guys have a good rest of your Monday and Tuesday, and some good basketball this week, man. There's some good basketball tonight. So, yeah. All right, we'll see you guys on Wednesday night. Be good.